Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jay, because some of the guys out there that are listening may not know who you are.
And I'm learning too, so.
Yeah. Jay Mirando, flipper here in Las Vegas for, 5-6 years. Started buying houses in 2011. That's when I moved to Vegas. So I was a dealer on the East Coast. If you move to Vegas, you make twice as much money, don't have to pay any money in taxes. Bought one house right away.
Nice.
And then
Smart man.
bought my first investment property, 2012.
Did you come out here to start real estate, or did you just do the dealing thing for a minute?
I was a dealer for like 2 years.
Okay.
And then you're on East Coast, you're watching the world burn, and you're like, man, anyone who moved to Miami, Phoenix, or Las Vegas will clean the fuck up.
Sure.
So I'm like, where could I move? And I'm already a dealer throwing cards at people. So if I go to Vegas, I know I can have a job. And I chose Vegas. So started buying property right away. That's what I always wanted to do. Like I was expelled from high school when I was 17.
Nice.
The school life and formal education was never for me. So, but I was reading books. Even though I was failing English class and getting expelled from high school, I was still reading books on flipping, on real estate, on investments, all that while I was in school, while I was not reading anything that they told me to read. So came out here, bought those properties. I say that because when I started flipping in 2017, there was a lot of steps, dig your well or build your well before you're thirsty. I had the property in place and I was getting all that equity for like 5 or 6 years. And then when I started flipping, I sold the first property, got $140,000 from title.
Wow.
Sold the second property and made $80,000 profit.
There you go.
So when I started flipping, it's not like I'm coming from nothing. It's not like I'm buying houses with no money down. I had money as the down payments. I did the work on the front end 6 or 7 years before I ever needed it.
Well, you're
and then
patient.
When I needed it,
yeah.
And I was realtor 2015, started flipping 2017 because I found amazing deals for clients that they walked away from. I'm like, why am I doing this? If I just bought it and sold it the next day, make like 50, 60,000. That's what I did.
So you did play the realtor game for a little bit.
Yeah, I played the realtor game. That's how I got out of the casino.
Okay.
So 23 is when I got hired at the Wynn, which debatable whether it's the best casino, but it's basically the best casino to deal at. So I'm already at the top of my career at 23 years old.
Smart man.
I got hired at the same day as Jason Griggs, by the way.
No way.
Oh, no way.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I saw him at one of the events. He's like, hey, you fucking bastard.
That's fucking great.
You remember me? I don't know if I'm doing Grosso or Griggs right now.
I know, you can go either one.
just plug it in.
Yeah.
Funny. Dude, I didn't know that. So Griggs was a dealer.
No, he got hired with some other thing.
But just at the Wynn.
Yeah,
Got it.
But at the Wynn. And then I was a dealer.
Okay.
And then I'm looking around and I'm like, everything else, every other way to move up, I got to be there for like 10, 20, 30 years.
Right.
The shift bosses are all like 50, 60 years old, in the business for 30 years, with degrees, knowing all the right people. I can't wait around for that.
No.
I got to start planning my way out.
I always go back to mindset, but how did you understand all of this? Was it just a inner drive? Did you look at someone and know that in order for me to be this person that I'm aspiring to be, what I'm doing is not going to get me there? Was this an internal thing? Like, was it a comparison thing? I'm not going to be that fucking guy. I'm going to be what I want to be, which is this thing that I've, built in my own brain.
So
like that, because you said 23. I can relate on all that, but I think it's fun to articulate on it because that was where my headspace was as well. But I'm curious what yours was at 23, saying I know better.
Right.
So, that was the difficult part because you have golden handcuffs on, right? You're making $74,000 a year with no responsibilities, throwing cards at people.
Sure.
In 2012, when $74,000 a year was,
Right.
you could actually buy a condo every year with that.
Yeah, that's a great living at the time.
But ever since I can remember, like even when I was like 8 years old, my mom's living in a 20-unit apartment building.
Wow.
I'm like, how much do you pay in rent? She's like $650. I'm like, well, that times 20 is $13,000. Mom, why don't you just buy the apartment building and then you don't have to do all this
Right.
work that you're doing? And then she's like, well, it's not that simple. I'm like, sounds weak, but sounds like a weak mindset to me. But like having that, I'd sell candy in school. What I was expelled for was selling weed. So that was entrepreneurial.
Yep. Sure.
And then as soon as I was 18, I got locked up in pyramid schemes. So it was prepaid legal and, recruit 3 people,
Yeah.
recruit 3 people, you become a millionaire, billionaire.
I remember that. I actually got sold on that.
Yeah.
That actually was a cool concept.
Yeah, it makes sense. It taught me some lessons of, things don't really work out the way they're supposed to. When
Yeah.
you recruit 3 people, they don't just recruit 3 other people. They sit on their butt.
Sure.
Right.
So I end
Right.
up recruiting like 12 or 15 people personally. And then like out of those 12, 15 people, maybe like 2 or 3 of them even recruited one person. Things just
Right.
don't take off like they're supposed to. But network marketing got me into reading books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon, which then you read all the books on success and then you get bored with it. So then you start reading books on psychology. Then you read all the books on psychology. So you get bored of it. Then you start reading biographies of great men like, whether it's Benjamin Franklin, Elon Musk, Genghis Khan, whatever. And then, then you start to look at stoicism and all that.
Crazy.
It just brings you down a path. But all that was at 18 years old.
Yeah.
So even though network marketing, I was in it for 2 years, I only made like $3,000, right? That's not a living.
No.
But that was my university.
Okay. And you didn't have to come out of that university with $400,000 in debt.
Right.
No.
Right.
But then being at the casino, you're at the Wynn, you're dealing to a bunch of rich people. So I get feedback. I know I get feedback of what real success is in life because I'm like, oh, what do you do for a living? I'm in real estate. What do you do for a living? I'm in sales. What do you do for a living? I own a business. What do you do? Real estate, sales, business, real estate, sales, business, real estate, sales, business. One person's a doctor. Real estate, sales, business, real estate,
Right.
sales, business. One other person might be one other off thing. But everyone who I speak to is in one of those 3 things. So I'm like, this is what I got to be.
This is where the money's at.
Yeah, because I'm dealing to all the richest people. So
Yeah.
I have all the data set, as far as I was concerned, was like 30%, 30%, 30%, 10%.
Man, I love that.
Got to go.
So that's your start.
Wait, I do have a question. So was it just your mom or did you have a dad in the picture?